The title of our article is Dialogic Argument Writing and Disciplinary Literacy in 4th through 12th grade Science, Social Studies, and English Language Arts. Civic discourse today too often relies on polarizing political leanings instead of scientific or historical evidence. So it's imperative that we teach students how to evaluate evidence, how to use evidence responsibly, and how to engage with different perspectives respectfully. A program designed to do just this is the National Writing Project's College, Career, and Community Writing Program, called C3WP for short. C3WP has 3 core features: source-based argument writing, instructional resources developed and field-tested by teachers, valid and reliable assessment tools, and professional learning that models classroom instruction of argument writing and centers teacher agency. The professional learning for the context of this study involved an in-person summer launch, online courses throughout the school year, and 2 in-person regroups during the year. Results of randomized controlled trials on C3WP found a positive impact on students' development of critical thinking, use of sources, and argument writing skills. These trials were conducted with English language arts teachers and their students. So more research is needed to see how C3WP works in other disciplines, since argument writing is not exclusive to ELA. The purpose of this study was to contribute to an evidence base for the implementation of C3WP resources, assessment, and professional learning in the content areas of science, social studies, and ELA, grounded in theories of dialogic argument and disciplinary literacy. Using qualitative methods, we conducted research during 2 years of professional learning with public school teachers from a Midwestern U.S. state. 132 participated during the 22-23 school year, and 136 during the 23-24 school year. Data sources included professional learning artifacts, as well as interviews with selected participants. We used inductive thematic analysis to analyze the data, which resulted in 4 findings. Finding number 1, really opened my kids' eyes, taking up dialogic argument dispositions and practices. Participants found that the dialogic approach to argument was a means of fostering open-mindedness because it layered reading, writing, and thinking. One of the participants said that openness can be fostered through rethinking and dialogue. To show you how the reading, writing, and thinking was layered over the course of several days, here is an overview of a typical lesson sequence in C3WP. Each sequence has a text set and begins with a quick write to generate initial gut feelings around the topic. Students are introduced to an image and they read the image or photo and reflect on their gut feelings in their notebook. They then discuss and write about any new perspectives that they encountered during the discussion. On day 2, they continue writing about what they're thinking. They are introduced to more texts from the text sets. They continue to add to their writing and to discuss with their peers in think, pair, shares, as well as whole group settings. Day 3, they're introduced to an article or a text from their discipline. They read and annotate the text. They add to their writing, revisiting their thinking from earlier days. They also begin to choose evidence and add their commentary as to what they're thinking about the evidence, so that on day 4, they write their claim. So as you can see, they're gathering their evidence and they're thinking first, and then the last day they write their claim, and they're scaffolded through writing an argument. Throughout these 4 days, students keep a dialectical notebook where they have their responses to the reading on the left side. This is where they're gathering the evidence from the text. And then the writing is their thinking, their commentary on the right side. And so they're going back and forth throughout the 4 days. Finding 2. They get so excited. Evidence of student engagement and dialogic argument. Participants perceived that the real-world topics and texts from newspapers and sources from real sources help the students engage in deeper thinking and writing. One of the participants said having source-based real-world material to go off of actually helped that out a lot. So here's an example of a real-world topic, zoos. In the communities that we are in, there are major zoos and so this is a topic that the students may have some prior knowledge about. This picture is the first text in the text set that students encounter. And I'm going to read this quote from our participant. With the zoo's lesson sequence, at first, I just threw the question out there. So what do we think about zoos? And they were like confused. They were puzzled. Then I had kids, because it's school and they played the game of school, they'd comply. The answer of most everyone was very similar to what I remember my group's action when we did it. Like, yeah, well, they're cool to go to, especially when you're younger. But all in all, my kids, especially in my honors sections, really bought into it, especially as they started to see different perspectives and concerns or benefits that come with the zoos. By the end of it, they didn't realize that they could become so passionate about something like zoos. Finding 3, deeper understanding of the meaning behind the strategy. Teacher uptake of dialogic argument strategies. Participants perceived that breaking down the skills of evaluating sources and writing arguments was one of the benefits of the professional learning with the instructional resources. Here's a quote from one of the participants. The different methods of breaking down different research pieces. By research, they're talking about the sources and the source-based argument writing. Like the round table method called Atwoodian table, where you're saying this person is saying this, and then they say this, I say this. I feel like I didn't really have a grasp on how to help kids break down their research and summarize it and help wrap their brains around it. So that's been really helpful. Here is a picture of an Atwoodian table, and this was the topic AI in education. So this text set, there were 5 texts. The students put a summary of the different perspectives after they read the text, and then the last thing they do is add their own perspective. So what their claim is and reasons and evidence from the text that help them arrive at their claim. Finding 4, you all do it differently. Language differences and conceptual nuances across disciplines. Participants perceived that there were different language that was used related to argument writing in the different disciplines, and that the criteria for evaluating sources was different in different disciplines. But there was a place for dialogic argument in all 3 disciplines. One of the participants said, the C3WP text set helped my students gain an understanding that they needed to read multiple texts and forms over an issue before they identified their own stance. We hope that you will check out our article to learn more and to read about the implications of our research. You can find our article at this website in the Journal of Adolescent and Adult Literacy.